After I quit my job, I bought my dream beach house and disappeared for a while. I just wanted peace. Then, on my very first night there, my mother called. "We're moving in tomorrow," she announced. "Your father already agreed." Before I could respond, she added, "And if you don't like it, you can find somewhere else." I sat there staring at the ocean, my hands shaking. Then I smiled. By the time they arrived the next morning, I already had a surprise waiting for them. My name is Rachel. I'm 38, recently divorced, and last September I bought a one-bedroom cabin with a loft in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. No shared mortgage, no cosigner. My name, alone, on every document. I want to be clear about what that meant to me. I had spent 11 years in a marriage where every financial decision was a negotiation I usually lost. Every account, every asset, every address, shared, debated, compromised on. When the divorce finalized, I walked out with enough to start over and one very clear intention. The next place I lived would be mine, the way nothing had ever been mine before. The cabin needed work. The porch railing was soft in 2 spots. The water heater was original to the house and running on stubbornness and prayer. I didn't care. I drove up on a Friday afternoon with my car loaded and my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I sat on that creaky porch and watched the fog settle into the valley below, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years, like I was allowed to be where I was. That lasted about 4 hours. The call came just after dark, not from my mom, but from my sister Gwen, which was actually worse. Gwen is 41 and has spent most of her adult life in what she calls transitional phases, between apartments, between jobs, between husbands, between whatever comes next. She's charming and catastrophic in roughly equal measure, and our family has been quietly funding her transitions for 20 years. She and her husband Derek had been staying with our parents since August. Cramped, tense, Mom had apparently reached her limit. So Mom and Gwen had a conversation, and in that conversation, they remembered that Rachel just bought a cabin with a second room, and Rachel lives alone. Problem solved. No one thought to call Rachel. "It's temporary," Gwen said when I finally got a word in. 3 months, maybe 4. "You've got the loft. You won't even notice us. You're alone up there anyway." I noticed that phrase, "You're alone up there anyway," like my solitude was a vacancy sign. Like the whole point of a woman living alone was that she had room for other people. I told her I'd think about it. She took that as a yes, because in our family, any answer that isn't immediate refusal is a yes. After we hung up, I sat in the dark for a while with my hand around a mug of tea that had gone cold. I thought about saying yes. I won't pretend I didn't. 11 years of compromising had worn grooves in me, and the old instinct, just absorb it, keep the peace, be the easy one, ran deep. Then I thought about the fog in the valley, about the 4 hours I'd had, about my name on the deed. I opened my laptop. The listing took me 45 minutes to put together. I had good photos from when I was shopping the place. The loft light in the morning, the ridge view from the kitchen window, the fireplace that actually worked. I wrote a clean description. Private mountain retreat, entire loft suite, sleeps 2. I priced it fairly and clicked publish. It was booked inside the hour. A couple from Charlotte arriving the next morning at 9 for a long weekend. I set a check-in time. I left a key in the lockbox. I texted Gwen that something had come up and we'd need to reschedule our conversation. She didn't respond that night. She showed up anyway. At 9:45 the next morning, I heard tires on gravel. Through the kitchen window, I watched Gwen's minivan crunch to a stop, loaded to the roof with bags and boxes. Derek in the passenger seat looking at his phone. Gwen already opening her door before the engine died. On my porch, in one of my 2 chairs, was a woman named Carolyn from Charlotte, wrapped in a fleece, holding a mug of my coffee, watching the fog dissolve off the ridge. She'd arrived early. I'd told her to make herself at home. She had. Gwen stopped on the bottom porch step. "Who is that?" I came out and stood in my doorway. "That's my guest," I said. "She and her husband are here through Monday. I've got bookings through February actually." I listed the loft last night. Gwen stared at me, then at Carolyn, who gave a small friendly wave and went back to watching the fog. "You said you'd think about it." "I did," I said. "I thought about it for about 20 minutes. Then I thought about this instead." She looked at the minivan, at the bags, at Derek, who still hadn't looked up from his phone. "Rachel, we drove 4 hours." "I know," I said. "I'm sorry about that, but this is my home, and it's fully booked." The fog had lifted almost completely now. The ridge was clear and sharp, and the morning light was coming in low and gold across the whole valley. Carolyn looked over her shoulder at me and said quietly, "This place is incredible." "Thank you," I said. "I just got it." Full story on the channel, linked below.